Happy week 16. We are in our series, 52 weeks. There's 52 weeks in a year, 52 verses, and it's week 16. Last week in week 15, we focused on really thinking about if we were fulfilling or living out the calling that God has called us to. And so, that is, are we living a life worthy of the calling we have received from the Lord? That can feel kind of overwhelming, right? It can feel kind of overwhelming because it's like, wow, I do think the Lord has called me to do a lot. Or maybe I don't know what that is. Like, there's just so many different feelings that can come with that. But I got to thinking about, even like as I'm working with my kids and talking about that with my children, the fruit that we see, I see my kids as my fruit, right? And every time that they fail or they make a mistake, instead of me being like upset with them, which I often am, but I get upset with myself, like, oh, I'm failing. Oh no, because they're my fruit. And it's very, very clear in the Bible. It talks about how, a good, healthy tree produces good, healthy fruit. And a sick tree produces bad, rotten fruit, right? And I start to feel overwhelmed. What can I do? What can I do to produce good fruit? Because the reality is, that's my calling, right? My calling is to produce the good fruit that God needs me to produce. And so much of that comes from what I think and what my thoughts are. And I think I can naturally sometimes have a negative mindset, and I don't want to do that. I want to be positive. And I will find myself like going down this rabbit trail of negative thoughts, like, what can I do? But there's hope, because the Bible also tells us in Romans 12, verse 2, that we can be transformed by the renewing of our minds. This book is incredible. This is Battlefield of the Mind. This is by Joyce Meyer, okay? This is such an incredible book, and it's actually really kind of based off of this thought that we have the power to transform our minds. And when I say we, I mean obviously with God's help. But it takes us, we have that free will. It takes us to make the choice. We have to make the choice to transform our minds. And I gave you a few little tips about how we can do that. If you want to really dive in to how you can transform your mind, this is great. I also recommended a podcast in my weekly email that you got. It is Adam Young's podcast. It's so very good. But it is The Place We Find Ourselves, okay? It's an incredible podcast. I recommend checking out just episode 81 because I kind of feel like it's just a quick little recap, but the whole entire podcast is amazing. I've listened to so much of it. And it's deep, okay? It's out there, but I would love for you to listen and let me know what you think. I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot about spiritual warfare. There's a lot. It's helped me become a much better parent. And just really focusing on goodness. It is true. What we think and where our mind goes really is what's going to produce the fruit. So overall in life, I want to make sure that I am equipping my children to have good, precious, positive thoughts. I don't want my children focused on the negative. I want them to focus on the positive. I want them to have good, loving, kind thoughts in their mind, meaning I have to be really careful about the words that come out of my mouth, because what they hear me say is what they hear in their head, right? And so that is such a huge responsibility that I have. And then I panic. I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing a very good job. But that's okay, because God tells us we do have the power to transform. And so I have to ask him every day, whatever negative I put out there, please erase that from my children. Don't let that take root in their mind. Help them live a good, positive life. And then I ask, remove all of the negative. Help me replace that negative with positive so I can produce fruit and so I can live out the calling that you have put me here on earth to do. So that's what we're focusing on this week, and just memorizing that verse. Anytime something negative creeps up, I feel like this tree is attacking me in all my videos. Sorry. But really, we have the power to transform our minds. And so if we have that verse memorized and we hear negativity creeping in, or we start to question ourselves, we can go, stop. We do have the power. One of the greatest gifts we have is gratitude. So I want to challenge you every single day. Put a note. I'm looking at the notebook by my bed right now. Put a notebook by your bed. Pull up the notes on your phone and write down 3 things every single day that you are grateful for. Like, it's gratitude. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. It's the truth. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. So write down things you're grateful for. Do this for your children. Like, do this for your children. If you have found that you feel like every day, I had to do this. Every day I'm like nagging on them, getting on them. You don't listen. Okay. And then at the end of the day, as I was putting myself to sleep, I would be so stressed because I would be like, what good things did I tell my babies today? So instead I decided I'm going to write down 3 things about each boy that I noticed were positive, good, lovely things. So I could tell that to them every single day. So every single night, no matter how many times I yelled at them to put on their shoes or reminded them that they were not obeying and listening, because it happens, y'all, it happens. But I could say, these are 3 great things about you, because I want them to know and listen to the good, positive things. I don't want them replaying I don't listen, I don't put on my shoes, whatever. I want them to focus on the positive, you opened the door for me, or you ate your vegetables at dinner, it made me really proud, or whatever it is, okay? So I recommend doing that, but try and make like those 3 things, try and never repeat anything. That causes your mind to be curious. So throughout the day, you're subconsciously going to be looking for the good instead of the bad. All right. Happy week 16. I love doing this with you. Remember, you can email me, Ryan at Ryan Keeps It Real, anytime with a prayer request, because I do set aside time in my week to pray for you by name, specifically what you need. All right. I love you guys. Know you're loved.